trajectory that you had planned out. You know, your road you're on, your path, you got it all laid out. Some of you OCD people really know what I'm talking about. But you have everything mapped out. You know how you're going to get to your finish line. You know what you're going to do to get from point A to point B. Seth was one of those guys. Seth had graduated at 15. Some of this is not in there. There's more videos, by the way, on teamsethfoundation.org. At Christmas, you're going to be around people that are going to get on your nerves, are depressed, are going through things that you don't even know about. Share his story. One thing that I have learned is everybody, I don't care what smile they're wearing, I learned to put a smile on and I would go get in my car and cry. Sometimes at the Walmart checkout line, I just bust out crying. Not because I didn't have the kind of brand I wanted either. But going through what we went through with Seth was 15 when he graduated high school. He was in college to be a nurse. He was about to start clinicals. He was super excited. He was super personable. He had been taught by his dad to be a leader I'm talking about leadership skills from kid up. And so then this terrible, horrible, awful thing happened. And when it did, it threw all of us because Seth was the baby. So we have 2 older daughters too. They were already done. The middle daughter was already, y'all, if my contact pops out, I'm not winking at y'all, but I'm seriously, like I'm about to take it and I'm going to flick it somewhere.
Seth got a new puppy last week, and I think
yes. Yeah, can y'all tell I got no sleep? Anyway, she cries a lot, but anyway, she's so cute. So Seth was the baby. We're empty nesters. I was a homeschool mom. I did all those cool things. And finally I was like, yes, I'm free. I can live again. And me and my husband were out of town when this happened. Seth was a youth pastor as well. He was a full-time youth pastor. He was a public speaker. He was really gifted and very arrogant. He knew it. So the night before, he actually preached a message that he talked about the purpose and destiny of God, and that nothing the enemy does to you can take that. And then boom, he got ran over the next day. Me and his dad were on our way back. The next day was my birthday, and he and my middle daughter, who was a nurse also, they had these big plans. Now they were going to do the travel nursing. Y'all know what that is, right? They pay all your expenses and you go see the world, and that's what they were going to do. And so they had their life mapped out. They had the trajectory set. They had the plans. They had it all laid out perfectly. And they even had the date, what they were going to do. The first trip was going to go to China. That's where they were going to do the first med thing. So, and then he got ran over. This is a triathlete. This is a kid that was not out, doing the party lifestyle. He was out training for a triathlon. He was on a 60-mile ride after he got out of college that day. So sometimes you can be doing the right things and the really wrong, terrible, horrible, awful thing happens. And it, capital IT, happened, not the clown, but life, happened. And at first, I was super angry. I was like, this is not fair. Why didn't this happen to, I named some people, I ain't gonna lie. But I could have thought somebody else. I was like, Jesus, I could have gave you some tips. But anyway, I got a hit list too. But anyway, I know y'all don't. Okay. Let me put my halo back on. Okay, I'm sorry. So anyway, Seth was on this trip. He was going. He was coming back. They had the day even planned out. So when that happened, this 81-year-old woman, see, it didn't just happen to us, it happened to them, and I'll get to that. The 81-year-old woman hit him. She did not break till she hit him. She was going at least 55. Thankfully, she did stop and call 911. But they trauma-backed him, helivacked him to Shreveport, to the trauma center, where they removed the left side of his skull. And like I said, there's more videos that are a little bit more detailed, that got more things of him learning to walk again, and amazing things. But Seth came home in a wheelchair and diapers 5 months later. He could not speak. This was a speaker who could not speak. Can y'all imagine? He did not know sign language because we don't know anybody in our family that has ever needed to have sign language. He could only do the sign language for yes and no. He could say ya, ma, and na. That was 8 years and a couple months ago. Seth can now get his point across. Now, this is the thing that's really important, so please remember this and take note. Because y'all are young. If something terrible, horrible, traumatic, and I'm talking about where you go into a PTSD zone, if something like that hasn't happened yet, I guarantee it will. Because life has a way of doing that. What you've got to remember, and this is something that we did, when I found out Seth was coming home, and we were right at the 5-month mark, and we were a couple weeks away, and they said, okay, he's going to come home, this is the date. I said, we're not leaving this hospital with this being the dark cloud that hangs over our identity as a family. We're not going to be known as, oh, the poor boy who got hit. You know, we're not going to be known like that. So I started the Team Seth Foundation. We came home, Seth was in a wheelchair. He could not pick his foot up, and I'm not kidding. You know what a threshold of a door is, right? He couldn't pick his foot up that high, without somebody holding on to him and literally helping him. His balance was horrendous, horrible. So with a brain injury patient, they appear, a lot of them, normal. You know, I know Seth's not, but you know, he's the exception. But anyway, so y'all, I'm sorry. I developed a really snarky sarcasm, and if y'all are around us, we don't hate each other, but we've had to deal with life's stinky, crappy thing that happened with a lot of sarcasm, sick humor. So
I don't think it's Seth's brain injury that makes him Seth anymore.
No, it doesn't. Seth has got an amazing attitude, and of all people, you know, yeah, we're the family that it happened to because the brain injury happened to all of us. But the amazing part of that is I've got a front row seat to Seth's life. So see, he could, or you could, fake somebody out here because, you know, other people know what goes on behind closed doors, or maybe they don't if you live by yourself. But most people know the real you, right? So Seth, through all of this, we went ahead and set a 5K. I'd never ran a 5K. Set a 5K when he came home. We were going to do it the year after. He came home a couple days before his 18th birthday. We had 1 year, and I said, you're going to run a 5K for the Team Seth Foundation if I have to push you in a wheelchair. Because now remember, he was right side paralyzed. Okay, so we start training, and this kid, now see, I'm showing you, he's not in nursing school anymore. He can't speak anymore, so the youth pastor sermons are kind of shoved to the side now. Now it's down to the raw deal of character and will. And he amazed me because y'all seen that he has headaches like literally all day. He does not sleep real good at night because he has really bad headaches. He never complains. He might get frustrated. He knows exactly what he has to say. If y'all don't know what these two words are, y'all can look them up. This is part of the deficit he's dealing with now is, y'all can see he was right side paralyzed. That is totally better. That's why ESPN did that story, because now he can lift weights, he can run, all of that. But he has bronchoaphasia and apraxia. And I'll just kind of give you a little nutshell what that is. What that means is bronchoaphasia means that he knows what he wants to say and he has partial communication. So his communication lines, because the language center on this side, you know, that's the side they removed the skull piece, completely destroyed. Your language center is what says, this is the motor skill movements, this is what this word means, this is what, it's the motherboard of communication for writing, texting, speaking, everything. It's gone. Seth is missing about a third to a fourth of his brain. So, saying that, now you understand why I couldn't communicate. The apraxia part of that medical thing is that Seth knows in his mind what he wants to say. Like in his head, he's saying it. Clear, plain English, saying it. But when it comes out, it's hard for him to get from here to here. So a lot of those pathways were completely, it's called shearing in a brain injury. They were severed. So it's like the wires, the cables to that motherboard, gone. So not only is the motherboard gone, the cables are now sheared. But the brain is rewiring it on the other side. Now I'm telling y'all all of this because I know you're in here to make a career choice, right? And to find purpose in why you're choosing what you choose. We didn't choose this. There's a saying that says bend with it, right? Right? There's a saying that says that. If you don't learn to surf the waves that come at you, you're going to go under and you're going to get wiped out completely. Because a lot of people that come to that point in their life, because they feel like whatever pain they're going through, whatever difficulty they're facing, whatever it is, that what they're dealing with at that point, that they don't have it in them to ride the wave. They don't have it in them to bend with it. Really, you do. See, every single one of you do. Whether you've chosen occupational therapy, PE teacher, nursing, whatever you've chosen to go into, if something happens like it happened to Seth when he was in college to be a nurse, when he was a youth pastor and he was going to take over the church that we pastor and founded. But now he speaks his testimony to more people with no words than I have ever seen in my life. He goes up to people. He approaches people. He didn't let what happened to him, oh, I can't speak anymore. I'm going to sit in the corner and feel sorry for myself. I had my life planned out. The day his nursing class graduated, I sit and bawled and squalled, and because I'm going, that should be my son going through there. But a few years later, Seth graduated in massage therapy. He went back to college. Now, he could have sat in the corner and said, well, life happened. It's not fair. I feel sorry for myself. But he didn't do that. And this is the thing that all of you have inside of you, that you're going to hit a place in your life where a roadblock is going to happen. Maybe you'll get hit by a car. Maybe something stupid, horrible, terrible, unpredicted, because the terribles usually are unpredicted, unplanned. It's going to happen and it's going to wipe you out. But you have everything inside of you to get back up and to say, well, maybe I can't be this anymore. Maybe that didn't work out. Maybe that guy that I had my whole future envisioned, we planned the wedding, and then boom. Maybe the girl cheated on you with your best friends. But, and you were about to walk down the aisle. I ain't saying that happened in here. I'm just saying. But when something like that happens and you've got your head so dead set and go in that one direction, and it happens, you got to remember everything happens for a reason. Does it mean it's the good reason or the right reason? No. But it also means that you have everything inside of you to take that other road, whatever that other road is. I got involved with Special Olympics because of Seth's accident. We had nobody in our family that even had a disability. This was a completely different world for us. But now, the fulfillment that I get by working with these kids that have disabilities, and all of them have the most beautiful attitudes, they have every reason to be sour, to be angry at the world and with their life, but they're not. They have such a great attitude, don't they, Lacey? It's amazing. It really is inspiring.
I'll say this too. When we think about, so not all of you are going to want kids. I mean, that's, most people, well, I mean, some of y'all are now going, I don't have kids ever. But in, 5, 6, 10 years, your life's going to be totally different. And when you become a parent, all you want is everything for your kid.
Mm-hmm.
You want them to have friends. You want them to be smart. You want them to be successful.
Yes.
You want them to be well behaved. You want all of these things. You want to give it to them because that's what, that's as a parent, you want to do those things. And it's really hard to not want to do that. But when you have a child with a disability, you can't do that for your kid. They're not always going to be in the regular classroom. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be the popular kid that everybody wants to hang out with. They're going to be the kid that when they walk into the cafeteria, other kids snicker and laugh, or they point, or they make fun of them. And that's just not cool. It is 2019, and we're only a few days away from 2020. That is just not cool in today's era. It's just not. And one of the women who does who works with us for Special Olympics, her daughter also suffered a traumatic brain injury, but at birth. Mm-hmm. And her daughter is in the throes of high school. Okay, Seth was done with school, like high school, living through. Think about high school. Think about how traumatic high school was, just mentally on you, and how there's this feeling that you always have to be with your friends, or you always have to be doing something to impress them.
Acceptance.
Yes. Acceptance is so hard in high school, and now her daughter is a teenager in high school with a traumatic brain injury. She's different.
Yeah.
She looks different. She doesn't catch on to things as fast as other people do. And as a parent, like, I look at Jenny and I see her pain. I see her daughter.
Because you can't fix it.
You cannot fix it.
You can't fix the machine that's already working, especially with children. And look, Lacey, and because what you've gone through too, but when you have a child with disability, I didn't. And the world that I encountered, I was a smack in the face because I was like, oh my gosh. And I have said it multiple times. Thank God Seth is not in school. This would have the pain that we are going through would have been so much more intensified, and because a lot of you may be teachers, special ed teachers or something, or deal with children with special needs, whether it's a nurse or like I said, a therapist of some sort. But whatever it is, please remember, you can make the paycheck, but if you don't have compassion and kindness and just a smile goes a long way for people that are going through things. Because everybody in here, I could really just go in here. If I could peel your mask back and see, a lot of you are in pain and struggling in the holidays right now because either you come from a dysfunctional family, you got to see your stepmama who you cannot stand, or your stepdaddy, who you don't like, or whatever. But you're dealing with that, and you can take whatever it is that you've chosen as an occupation, and if you don't have compassion and understanding and know that every single person that you come in contact with was placed on your path that day for a reason. Every person, even Miss Deal, she's got an amazing story. There are teachers that don't have that. They're just getting the paycheck because they got the degree. And they hate their job. And y'all know some of them, right? We ain't gonna call names. But Miss Deal is not like that. She is very passionate. She loves the people that God has placed in her life, and the influence that she has, she knows that she's there for a reason, whether it's to say you can do it, you can make that grade, you can pass this class. Maybe you're not a straight A student. Big deal. Can you pass? Can you just give it everything you got so you can look in the mirror at the end of the day and have that sense of, I respect that person looking back at me. That is what happened even with this. When I see what he has gone through, what Seth has gone through, and to know he could be angry of all people. He could be so angry and bitter and just mean at the world, grumpy every day because he's just angry at what life has come, what has happened to him. But instead, he's not. We're here today. But if y'all see Seth, and I'm not with him, he's independent. He can drive and
stuff.
stuff.
He runs the building randomly.
Yes. Sometimes he has a shirt on. Yeah.
He's usually sweating when he comes through.
Right. And we'll give you a hug. Sweaty
Yeah.
hugs. And they're free. No dollar bills for those. But he's got such a good attitude. And when you're having a really, I feel sorry for myself, life sucks day, and you're thinking, well, you know, I didn't pass that class. Well, maybe you're not meant to be on that path. Maybe you need to really just be still and think, what direction do I really need to take? This is my life. I've heard of some people, I love Dr. Laura Schlesinger. I really like listening to her. She's super smart. Don't agree with everything, but I really like listening to her. She went to college and got this big degree, went several years to get this degree, and then she literally at the last minute, she said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Got her degree in it, turned around, went right back to college to get a degree in a completely different field that pays less money, but she said it was my passion. And if your job is not your passion, or your life, you don't have something that is a purpose-filled passion and you're living for that, then, you know, maybe today you can kind of sit quiet and go, what do I want to do? Where do I see myself in 5 years or 10 years? Okay. I know I didn't wear my smartwatch and I had it laid out. Darn it. So how much longer do I have?
We still got about 20 minutes.
Okay, good, because that's enough time to ask questions. And y'all, Seth's tattoos at the end, if y'all want to touch them, just like I said, make sure you put your money here. And yay. But his tattoos are his testimony of what happened to him. They're really beautiful. It's an amazing story. But Seth has recently had surgery. As y'all see this really cool tattoo up here. So
I
back.
love the story of why he got that. So there's all these things, and I mean, you're going to be put in places for a reason.
Yes.
I mean, that's more than anything, you're going to be put somewhere, and you're going to wonder why. There's going to be hard things you're going to do. There's going to be easy things you're going to do, and you're going to go 10 years down the road. Oh wow, that's why I met that person.
Yes.
And there's going to be people that are going to come into your life. I love this. There's this really great Medea thing. It's like people come into your life for a season, and sometimes they come into your life for a lifetime. Well, you're going to have people come in and come out, and you're going to be sad to see some people go, but then happy to see other people go. And it is okay.
Yes.
If someone is causing massive trauma in your life, maybe if you've got a roommate that is toxic, or a boyfriend or girlfriend or ex or whatever, get rid of them. Life is too short.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I'm telling you, in about
Oh yeah, y'all need to write that down. Trust me.
in about
That is
15
really
years,
good
you're
info.
going to go, woo!
Yeah.
Somebody posted something the other day, I don't know if you saw it, it said, I can't believe that we're like 2000 was 20 years ago because 1980 was just 20 years ago. Like, to me, that feels that way. Like, I feel like I was just where you guys are sitting, and now it's been a little while since I've sat where you guys sat. And I look back on it, it's like, whoa, it just happened. I had 2 kids and got married and have a mortgage. It happens. And it's okay to walk away from people. It is. It is totally okay, because if they're keeping you from being fully who you want to be, go be who you want to be. Okay? And some of it might even be your parents that are telling you, oh, you don't need to do that because you're not going to make any money. Okay? As long as you're not living in their house and making them pay your bills, then whatever you're doing and you can support yourself and you can live happily, do it. You know, I don't make a ton of money, but I also don't spend a ton of money. I mean, that's the reality of it. You don't have to have a ton of things. If things are what makes you happy, you're in the wrong major. If you want to make a ton of money and work your booty off to make that ton of money and probably spend your life working to make that ton of money, then you need to go figure out how to get Hollywood to pay you, because because you're not going to get it here.
That's why choose your purpose, something you're passionate about.
It's not always going to be
sure.
there. So, but Seth, you notice he has the Grim Reaper on his head.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let Kimber, because there's a reason why, and the thing that led to this, even though Kimber didn't want it to happen, was a good thing, because it helped this happen.
Yeah. A lot of times there's reasons behind even the littlest things, you know, details. And Seth, March 1st was his birthday. He's 25. and he had been insisting for several months, shave his head. And we're like, no. And he was even, and you've heard Lacey talk about, he gets really sweaty when he's working out, yeah.
And he had black hair at the time then, didn't he?
It's
Black
been
hair?
black, blonde, I don't know. He's red beard now.
A shaved
Yeah.
head was covered in tattoos and big black.
Yes, very intimidating. So the crazy thing is, he, Dr. Szymanski, the kinesiology class, I don't know what.
He's our
actual
department
class.
chair, if y'all haven't had John.
Yes. So they took Seth on, and Seth was kind of like the tech guinea pig, I'll say. They were doing a lot of data and things like that for training him. And Seth was about in April, the end of April, he was supposed to go and compete in South Louisiana, Florida, and break the their world record they had. His numbers were already there, but it was just going to be, put on, registered or whatever, recorded for Special Olympics for the powerlifting part of that. But then, right after that, because Paralympics wanted him to do the shot put and discus for the USA team. So he was going to go classify for national and international in May. Thank you, Lacey. In May. So what happened is him insisting on shaving his head. He's like, no, please don't do it. Please don't do it. Please. Because I love his curly hair. But anyway, so I hear him after we got back from the birthday dinner. He's in his bathroom, and I hear him like the razor, and he's like, "Oh crap!" So I go, "Oh my God!" I go in there and look, and literally he looked like he had mange. Yeah, it was. I wish I had the picture. We should have put the picture up, and the expression on his face and my face. It was priceless. So I walk around, and he's literally gapped up everybody. Because he had a lot of hair. Y'all seen in the video, right? And so I went ahead and continued to help him shave his head. As I'm shaving this area over here, I go, oh my gosh, there's like 2 holes up there, and it's a wet area. And that concerned me a lot. The next day, he had gotten back, and he was just standing there. We were kind of like organizing his room or whatever he was organizing, and I looked. His dad was standing there, and he goes, Seth was just standing there, and it started trickling down. Well, brain fluid's a certain color. So his dad goes, that's brain fluid. We got on the phone, called the neurologist and all of that stuff. Long story short, they just recently had to do a surgery in
May and then October.
The first one was May, because that's why he didn't get to go. So we had to stop everything. His first surgery was May 9th. Yeah.
The beginning of summer, didn't he?
Yeah, May 9th. They took, this is called a deep tissue graft, skin graft. They did, show him your arm, babe. They took a chunk out of his arm, and this is his main artery. They removed his main artery. So he has no active pulse in that arm right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it looked like before he had the skin graft done. Show Elisa. Go put it up in her face right there. All you people watching.
So tell them what they removed.
So this is the cool part of the story, okay? So Seth's story, I told you, his tattoos, every single part of that is his testimony. Took a year. Well, ironically not. What they wound up removing is, this was Grim Reaper's head. And on the part of the tattoo, so Seth didn't get this tattooed, they removed his tattoo. Christ is actually standing on his grave. There's the tombstone with his initials and the date of the accident. He's got Seth in one arm and then a spear in the other, about to spear Grim Reaper. And they removed Grim Reaper's head. We didn't pick it, that's where they had to take the skin graft. They removed his head, they removed the artery, which is cool because it looks like, y'all know, the cartoons and stuff where they had the lightning strike. It looks like the strike is coming out of the cross that's on this side that says God is first place in my life, and it goes all the way down, and then it's like, bam, this big crater where he's zapped. So Grim Reaper officially was beheaded on May 9th. October 2nd, they had to go back in and do it a little, pull him back and close up another wound site. He's still healing over that. That was October 2nd. And this, that's the day Grim Reaper got a facelift. So they pulled him back another time.
One.
No. Yeah, he got a facelift. So, so that's why that's up there. But look, see, everything's, I know, we always say it's in the details. It's, you know, God is in the details, absolutely. Because if he wouldn't have shaved his head and insisted on it and listened to me, it would have continued to leak brain fluid, which is not a good thing, guys. So, you know, even that worked out. But does anybody have any questions? Because I want to leave y'all enough time y'all can, because I know y'all got classes, to like come feel his muscles and his, and his, and see his tattoos. But,